Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Al Capone strikes again in its own manner. Now, for my friends that are not familiar with who Al Capone is, I made a video yesterday identifying Al Capone as the United States of America, the leaders of this country, because they employ certain tactics as the mobster used to. Watch that video, I made it yesterday. So Al Capone strikes again, and by the way, I claim copyright rights for the term Al Capone being identified as United States of America. So what did the Al Capone do? He just made some rules by himself, and he's going to act according to the rules he made in a thuggish way. And let me show you this little article here, coming from CNN Politics, if you can believe that one. So here it is. US seizes nearly 1 million barrels of Iranian oil allegedly bound for China. Now that's piracy. But hey, United States unilaterally, as far as I remember, imposed sanctions on Iran, and then forced another ones, I think, to do the same thing. So due to that embargo imposed by me, I will arrest you. I will do whatever I want. If I see your children in a neighborhood riding a bike, I will go, I will push the child away, I will seize the child's bike, and I will give it to my children. Why? Because you will not dare showing up at my door and ask for your child's bike, because I'm going to punch you in the face. That's exactly what's going on here. So Al Capone decided that that bar in Chicago should be his, because that's his territory, and because that's his territory and the other guy is his enemy that he named, he is allowed legally to go and seize that guy's bar. All right? Basically, that's how it is here, my friends. Al Capone is making laws. Like, for instance, if Al Capone decides tomorrow that he would like to have his assigned by Al Capone enemy's wife, he will have her. Based on this, you are bad. I determined that you are bad. I will sanction you, and as a result, I will take your wife for a ride or two. All right, it depends how was the first one. All right, so let's move down here and see what's going on. And it's going for China, and China doesn't care. But hey, they try to keep this probably above China's head and tell them, hey, my God, this is what it is. Anyway, this is piracy, but it's called differently. You know, like campaign donations in the United States are called campaign donations. But if you would do this with a police officer or someone else, they would be called a bribery. Right? Bribery, a bribe. The US government seized nearly 1 million barrels of Iranian crude oil allegedly bound for China, according to newly unsealed court documents, and a statement released by the Department of Justice on Friday. And I'm quoting, "This is the first ever criminal resolution involving a company that violated sanctions by facilitating the illicit sale and transport of Iranian oil. Violated our sanctions, and according to our sanctions, it is illicit sale." Remember? I say that it's illegal for you to do that. I determine that. And based on what I say, I act upon. Why? Because I can punch you in the face. That's the whole thing here. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a U.S. designated foreign terrorist organization. Again, you are my enemy. I will take your wife. I will take your bar. That's my sphere of influence. That's my territory. I determined that. And you were going to either run away with your wife or with mistresses if you want. Otherwise, I will come and get them all, and you. Al Capone in action. Remember, if you agree with this, imagine that someone else would do that to you, since I'm assuming a lot of Christians will say, yeah, what? I mean, it's Iran. That's a lot of Christians will not do, because you don't like to be done onto you, You know, what you do unto others, or what is that what it is? Something like that. All right? A golden rule or something, a golden shower rule or something, or turn the other cheek or something, forgive your enemies and all that. Jesus Christ was crucified for. And remember when Nietzsche said, God is dead? Yeah, but then he said, and we killed him. For the exact reason, because we blah, 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 lip service, and when we are supposed to do something, we don't do it. That's why we are just hypocrites. Not we, because I am a hypocrite without being a believer. But that's, it's just embarrassing when you say something and you don't do it. It means you're a cheater in that. So I don't have to be a religious person to have a moral compass. Anyway, the DOJ claimed that multiple entities affiliated with Iran, IRGC, that is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, and the IRGC Quads force were involved in the scheme to disguise the origin of the oil and illegally, according to me, sell it to China, which it's free to do, according to court documents. The court filings, profits, blah, 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 boo, boo, boo. Yeah, it's right here. In April, the company operating the ship carrying the oil, Empire Navigation, pleaded guilty to conspiring to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Was fined almost 2.5 million, and it was sentenced to 3 years of corporate probation. The company vessel, blah, 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 transported the contraband to the U.S. and Department of Justice. Imagine that and I don't understand why these guys don't do the same thing. The Iranians designate the U.S. military as a terrorist organization, or NATO as a terrorist organization. I don't understand why they don't do that. And again, why don't they say, well, we're going to do the same thing to you. We're going to seize your thing. Well, I think it's because of this. And remember, Al Capone, Al Capone has people promoted in certain positions, opened doors, eliminated competition, and promoted his men in positions and international bodies. Okay, and then when Al Capone needs something, those guys will pay. Those guys will return the favor because they know that without Al Capone, they would not be there. I'm talking about prime ministers, presidents, and other people who were they had a meteoric accession in the sky that you wonder how in the hell this weasel, for instance, I think is the foreign minister of Estonia, I think is the guy. I just featured a few, I think Estonia, I'm not sure. Anyway, he's like 43 or something, 44, 42, 43, and he was a foreign minister at what, 30 some. How in these guys just jump like that? Or Macron at 35 or something. We've been through that age, and really these guys moved so fast, like hot butter, a knife through butter. Not impossible, but very unlikely. And if you've been around the block a few times, you have concrete examples where certain people had their doors open and promoted. They just jumped like they grew in a day like other children grow in 10 years. The same here. Some people just shoot up from zero to just get out from the, that guy, I think that guy was, that I was featuring, I think he was an embassy staff right after college. Who gets to be an embassy staff right after college? I want to see how many. Can you do it? Why weren't you? Just from college embassy staff, I can remember somewhere in Europe this week, and then from there in the government, and then foreign minister. I think it's a blonde guy, whatever. I featured it. Non-important. I mean, if someone sues me, I will bring Susie Q. I will bring the evidence. No problem. I have no problem with that. But I think you know who I'm talking about. How is this possible? Look at Saakashvili of Georgia. Bang, just like that. Well, he went to the United States a few times, right, to take some notes, and says, yes, I'll do it. I signed right here, and went back and boom, boom, under, what's his name, Shevardnadze, a little bit, and then boof, cut Shevardnadze's legs, and he became this, and then he became that. And then he did what he was supposed to do, return the favor with a Georgian invasion of whatever, Ossetia, South Ossetia, I think, or Abkhazia, whatever, South Ossetia it was. And the Russians smacked him. Remember? Where is he now? Anyway, he's in Georgia, in his country. He doesn't have even citizenship. He doesn't have Georgian citizenship anymore. He's got Ukrainian citizenship. He was a governor of an oblast in Ukraine, Saakashvili. Really? Please, my friends. If the information is there, just do a few clicks and you find out. So again, these guys make the rules, and what can you do? Nothing, because they have their people positioned, and they're going to be like, look how the G7 votes. Look how the European Union votes. Look how the countries in the European Union. Look how NATO countries. Tell me when was the last time when a NATO country said, no, man, we're not going to do this. Maybe aside from Hungary. They're all like in line. Boom, boom, boom. The European Union the same. Like all in line. Rarely they deviate. How is that possible? And they went to the G20 and they met the world, and they were in a half-half. There were 7 weasels, 10 weasels, again 10 countries that were not weasels. They were not their vassals. And what happened? They came with a statement that they did not condemn Russian invasion. They said the war in Ukraine, not the Russian war in Ukraine. So they lost. That means the world is not on their side. It's divided. Even though they try to give us the illusion that the world community is against Russia. No, that's not true. You can check it out. Out of 195 countries, give and take one, all right, you're going to find out that no more than the usual suspects, which are the European Union, Australia, South Korea, Japan, New Zealand, and maybe Palau, Zapalau, Kupilau, and Tsupilau. You get about 50, mostly, let's say 60 countries, depends on how they, the Americans do that. 60 countries support Zelensky's peace plan. 62 out of 195. What is 62? It's a third. It's not even a third. And they tell us a majority. No, the world community is not United States. France and Great Britain. That's not it. But in their mind, it is. That's why they impose sanctions on Russia, thinking they will be successful for the same reason. And they just fell on their nose. The 15 or almost 15,000 sanctions imposed on Russia, the most sanctioned country in the world, surpassed Cuba sanctions by far. And still, these guys are having a surplus, and these guys are hitting their economies nosedive. Not the United States yet, but the Europeans, yes. Why? Because they have to. Someone else will come and help them with another Marshall Plan. Jesus Christ, my friends. It's so easy. It's so easy. Yeah, so this Capone decided that he's going to seize that. And I don't understand why. I mean, it's coming, and I said it before. It's coming. The Russians and the Chinese and these guys that were kicked in the teeth, they will create their own organizations parallel to the ones formed by United States and its weasel 3, 4, 5 countries in the West and got their vassal states. You see, they're going to have 2 parallel organizations in embargoes. And what are you going to do when that organization will say, no, Iran is not under any embargo and no, nothing. When these guys are going to say, yes, it is, no, it is, then you are. And they're going to start what? Sanctioning one another? Yeah. And then what? Where is that? Where can that go? Pop, 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 boom, boom, blam, blam. You're going to get a crazy with a finger on some buttons. You're going to get a crazy like that. They say Putin is a crazy. No, Putin could have done that the first day without even invading, and he didn't do it. That tells me he's not crazy. A crazy guy is irrational, doesn't think of the consequences. Obviously, for a year and a half, he's been fighting over there. Instead of finishing everything like, hey, our friend, what's his name? Harry Truman. He shortened the war. He saved our boys' lives. What if Putin would think the same way? We'll have the same great worldview like Harry Truman, the former US president, would have. What if he said, hey, unlike Harry Truman, man, let's shorten the war. Let's finish the shit. Let's finish it up. Let's save our boys' lives. What if he would think that way? Yeah, my friend. And these guys are sanctioning others because of their virtue. Signaling bullshit. Al Capone is Al Capone. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.